Good morning/afternoon, everyone. I'm excited to welcome you to this presentation on mastering effective listening, overcoming barriers for personal and professional growth. Today, we'll explore how improving our listening skills can truly enhance our communication, boost leadership abilities, and strengthen relationships in both our personal and professional lives. Let's dive into the art of listening and discover practical ways to build deeper connections and achieve greater success. Listening is more than just hearing words. It's a vital skill that significantly boosts our leadership and personal influence. When we truly listen, we build stronger relationships, deepen our understanding, and communicate more effectively. Today, we'll dive into the common challenges that get in the way of effective listening and explore practical strategies to overcome these barriers. By doing so, we can engage more fully and achieve greater success in both our professional and personal lives. Effective listening plays a fundamental role in both our personal and professional growth. When we truly listen, it leads to better decision making and helps build trust with others. This trust can bring real benefits, whether that's a raise at work or stronger friendships. In this presentation, we'll focus on 6 major barriers that can get in the way of effective listening. We'll also explore practical strategies to overcome these obstacles. By improving our listening skills, we not only enhance our personal relationships, but also boost our professional communication and collaboration. The key is to recognize these barriers and actively work to address them, which ultimately makes our communication more effective overall. One of the biggest barriers to effective listening is distractions. External distractions often interrupt our listening process, making it hard to concentrate fully. For example, phone notifications can pull our attention away. Background noises can disrupt our focus, and even pets can create playful diversions that break our concentration. When these distractions occur, we can't fully engage with what the speaker is saying, which means we miss important information, and our overall understanding decreases. Recognizing and minimizing these distractions is key to improving our listening skills. To manage distractions effectively, the first step is to turn off and store away your phones and other digital devices completely. This prevents any notifications from interrupting the flow of conversation. Next, try to choose quieter locations by closing doors or moving to spaces that minimize background noise, making it easier to have undisturbed discussions. Finally, remove any other distractions like pets or unrelated items, so the environment supports focused and attentive listening. These simple actions can make a big difference in maintaining concentration and communication quality. One common barrier to effective listening is preoccupation. This means that our minds are busy with internal distractions like anxiety, thinking about future tasks, or even unrelated memories. These mental distractions can really disrupt our ability to listen actively. When we're preoccupied, our attention drifts away from the speaker, making it hard to absorb or process what's being shared. The key here is to recognize when this is happening. Becoming aware of these mental distractions is the first step in bringing our focus back and fully engaging in the conversation. When it comes to overcoming mental preoccupation, one effective strategy is practicing mindfulness techniques. This means intentionally bringing your focus to the present moment, which helps prevent your mind from wandering. Another important approach is to acknowledge distracting thoughts as they arise without judging yourself for having them. Then, gently redirect your attention back to the speaker. Lastly, using mental reminders or cues can be very helpful. These act as signals to yourself, helping you recognize when your focus starts to drift and guiding you to bring it back promptly. Together, these techniques create a practical way to stay engaged and present during conversations or presentations. When we focus too much on the small details in a conversation, we risk missing the bigger picture. This hyperfocus can break up our understanding, causing us to lose sight of the main purpose or intent behind what's being communicated. To truly grasp the message, it's important to find a balance, giving attention to details without losing track of the overall ideas. This balance is key to effective comprehension and meaningful communication. It's important to regularly step back and focus on understanding the speaker's overall message instead of getting caught up in small details. This helps us see the bigger picture and not miss the main point. Next, It's best to hold off on asking detailed questions until the primary points are clear and fully understood. That way, our questions are more relevant and informed. Finally, we should prioritize grasping the key ideas first, before diving into the finer details. This approach ensures we build a solid foundation before analyzing specifics. When listeners find a topic boring or irrelevant, their attention naturally starts to drift. This waning focus leads to disengagement, making it hard for them to stay connected to what's being said. As a result, disinterest creates a significant barrier to active listening. When people aren't interested, they miss out on valuable information and the opportunity to truly connect with the speaker. This can severely limit both learning and meaningful interaction. So, keeping the audience engaged is crucial for effective communication. To combat boredom, one effective strategy is to cultivate curiosity intentionally. This means making a conscious effort to be curious about the subject matter or the person speaking. Instead of passively listening, actively look for things that pique your interest. Another important point is to value ordinary topics. Even conversations that seem mundane at first can hold valuable insights if you're open to discovering them. Finally, adopt a discovering mindset by approaching every interaction with the attitude that there's something new to learn. This shift in perspective can transform how you engage with information and keep boredom at bay. One common barrier to effective listening is what we call rebuttal tendency. This happens when listeners focus more on preparing their own responses while the other person is still speaking. Instead of fully absorbing what's being said, their attention is divided. As a result, they don't truly understand the speaker's message. This mindset turns listening into a competition, where the goal is to win or prove a point, rather than engaging in a meaningful and collaborative conversation. Recognizing this barrier is key to improving our listening skills and fostering better communication. When we talk about overcoming the tendency to jump in with a rebuttal, the first step is to consciously resist the urge to start forming counterarguments while the other person is still speaking. It's tempting to prepare your response right away, but this actually hinders true listening. Next, we want to embrace those moments of silence or pauses during the conversation. Instead of rushing to fill the gaps, use them as opportunities to fully absorb and process what's being said. Finally, the most important step is to focus on understanding the speaker's perspective completely before you respond. This means truly putting yourself in their shoes and making sure you've grasped their point fully, which leads to more meaningful and effective communication. Sometimes, the way a speaker delivers their message can become a distraction in itself. For example, if a speaker uses a lot of filler words like or you know, or they hesitate frequently or speak in a monotone voice, it can be hard for listeners to stay engaged. These habits can cause listeners to make negative judgments about the speaker, which pulls their focus away from the content and makes it difficult to listen actively. So, delivery style plays a big role in maintaining listener attention and ensuring the message gets through clearly. When we're building compassion for the speaker, the first step is to avoid harsh or critical judgments about how they communicate. Instead of focusing on any flaws in their delivery, it's important to shift our attention to the person behind the words, their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. By doing this, we move beyond surface-level impressions and connect on a human level. Cultivating empathy plays a big role here. It helps us truly understand and relate to the speaker, which not only deepens our connection, but also makes us more open and receptive to their message. This compassionate approach creates a positive space for meaningful communication. To wrap up, let's review the 6 key barriers to effective listening. First, external distractions like phones ringing or background noise can easily pull our attention away. Then, there are internal preoccupations, when our own anxiety or wandering thoughts get in the way of fully engaging. Another common barrier is over-focusing on minor details, which can cause us to miss the main message altogether. Disinterest or boredom with the topic also makes it hard to stay attentive. Additionally, mental rebuttal, where we start formulating a response instead of truly listening, prevents us from understanding the speaker's full point. Lastly, speaker-related distractions, such as their delivery style or mannerisms, can sometimes divert our focus from the content itself. Being aware of these barriers is a first step toward improving our listening skills. To improve our listening skills, the first step is to enhance self-awareness. Take a moment to really think about your own listening habits and what might be getting in the way. Now, consider the barriers you face most often. Do any stand out as recurring challenges? Next, try to pinpoint where your distractions come from. Are they mostly external, like noise or interruptions, or internal, such as wandering thoughts? Finally, reflect on your listening tendencies. Do you find yourself mentally argue with the speaker? Or do you tune out because you're bored or disinterested? Recognizing these patterns is crucial because it helps us take targeted steps to become better listeners. Let's talk about some practical ways to improve your listening skills. First, managing external distractions is key. This means setting up your environment so it's free from interruptions and noise, making it easier to focus. Next, staying mentally present is crucial. It takes practice to keep your mind from wandering, so train yourself to bring your attention back whenever it drifts. Third, focus on the big picture before getting caught up in the details. Understanding the overall message helps make sense of the finer points. Fourth, cultivate curiosity and empathy. Being genuinely interested in the topic and the speaker's perspective enhances your engagement and comprehension. Finally, avoid jumping to respond too quickly. Give yourself time to fully absorb what's being said before formulating your thoughts. This approach leads to deeper understanding and more meaningful conversations. Listening is truly a foundational skill for any leader. It's not just about hearing words, but about truly connecting with others and understanding their perspectives. When leaders listen well, they build trust and encourage collaboration within their teams. This kind of environment helps everyone perform at their best. That's why developing strong listening skills is so important. It's key to being an authentic and effective leader who can inspire and motivate others.